Imagine waking up one morning to find your paycheck gone. Not delayed, not pending, just gone. You did your job. You showed up. You served your country. But now, Washington's political war has frozen your income. That's not a dystopian movie scene. That's what's happening right now in America. The U.S. government shutdown has spiraled into chaos, and this time, it's hitting the most sacred corner of American life, the military itself. Soldiers, sailors, airmen, all on the verge of missing their first paychecks in decades. Welcome to the 2025 Shutdown Showdown, where politics, power, and people collide. This is Global Lens, your faceless guide to geopolitics and power. In today's episode, we're breaking down the unfolding government shutdown, why the Trump administration is laying off thousands of federal workers, and how this standoff could reshape the balance of power in Washington forever. It all began on October 1, 2025, when government funding expired. Congress failed to pass a spending bill, triggering an immediate shutdown. For most people, that means agencies close, workers are furloughed, and non-essential programs pause. But this time, the word shutdown took on a much darker meaning. By mid-October, reports from CBS News and USA Today confirmed that active-duty military members could miss their next paycheck, due on October 15th. That's right, the very people sworn to protect the nation might not be paid at all. For context, the U.S. military runs on precision. Pay schedules, logistics, readiness, all of it relies on trust and stability. Missing paychecks could devastate families who live paycheck to paycheck, especially young service members with children. One military spouse told CBS News, "If we see a lapse in pay, my children won't get their medication. We can't make rent. We live paycheck to paycheck." This isn't politics anymore. This is survival. But the crisis didn't stop there. The Trump administration took an unprecedented step, launching mass layoffs, known officially as reductions in force, across multiple federal agencies. Over 4,000 federal workers received termination notices, including employees in the Departments of Commerce, Education, Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, and even Homeland Security. According to the Washington Post, the administration admitted these layoffs in a court filing, confirming what many feared, that this shutdown is not just a pause in funding, but a purge. White House Budget Director Russ Vought declared bluntly, "The RIFs have begun." And former President Trump, speaking at a rally, went even further, saying the layoffs would be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot of people. Those words sent shockwaves through the bureaucracy, a direct acknowledgement that political affiliation could determine who keeps their government job. At first, some believed these layoffs were symbolic. But the reality has been messy, even chaotic. For instance, hundreds of employees at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention received layoff letters, only for them to be suddenly rescinded after what officials called a coding error. Those workers were told they weren't being fired after all. But imagine the confusion. One day you're terminated, the next day you're reinstated, all while the government you work for is literally shut down. Legal experts are warning that these layoffs may violate federal law. Specifically, the Anti-Deficiency Act, which prohibits government spending without congressional approval. Implementing layoffs during a funding lapse may actually break that law. Multiple federal unions have already filed lawsuits against the Office of Management and Budget and the Office of Personnel Management, arguing that the administration's actions are unconstitutional. One federal judge in California has even demanded updates on all layoffs planned during the shutdown. The chaos has sparked a fierce legal debate. Can a president effectively restructure the federal workforce during a shutdown? Or is this an illegal overreach designed to purge opposition and consolidate power? Meanwhile, the human cost grows by the day. Thousands of furloughed workers have no income, and essential employees are working without pay, including law enforcement officers, air traffic controllers, and military personnel. Many are resorting to credit cards, savings, or charity just to cover basic needs. For those laid off entirely, the uncertainty is crushing. Some have 60 days notice before being officially removed, but even that timeline is unclear because, technically, the government isn't operating. And yet, inside the White House, the messaging is clear. This isn't just about saving money. It's about reshaping government itself. Analysts at the Washington Post link the move to the Project 2025 blueprint, a conservative plan aimed at dismantling and rebuilding the federal bureaucracy to be more loyal to the president. The layoffs in this context aren't just collateral damage. They're part of a broader strategy to shrink the deep state and replace career officials with political loyalists. Critics warn that this sets a dangerous precedent. If shutdowns become tools for political purges, then every budget negotiation could threaten the livelihoods of federal workers. The shutdown ceases to be a funding issue and becomes a weapon. It's governance by chaos, using the threat of economic pain to enforce loyalty. Meanwhile, Congress remains paralyzed. House Speaker Mike Johnson faces pressure from both sides, Democrats demanding an immediate end to the shutdown and hardline Republicans insisting on deep spending cuts. Some lawmakers have proposed a temporary fix to pay the military even while the rest of the government stays closed. But so far, no deal has advanced. And the clock keeps ticking. Let's consider the scenarios ahead. If Congress passes a funding bill soon, the shutdown ends, and layoffs may be reversed. But if the administration insists on continuing the RIFs, even after reopening, legal battles will erupt, potentially reaching the Supreme Court. If the shutdown continues for weeks, the economic fallout could be enormous. Federal contractors, small businesses near military bases, and families reliant on federal programs could all collapse financially. And there's another layer: global perception. When the world's most powerful nation can't pay its troops or its scientists, allies take notice, and adversaries do too. From Beijing to Moscow, rivals are watching America's internal dysfunction unfold live. A shutdown of this magnitude isn't just a domestic issue, it's a geopolitical signal, one that suggests fragility inside the world's leading democracy. The BBC reports that the shutdown has already delayed international meetings, trade discussions, and intelligence cooperation. In a time when global crises demand U.S. leadership, Washington is stuck in bureaucratic gridlock. The optics are devastating, a government that can't govern itself. So, what happens next? Courts may block the layoffs. Congress may compromise. Or the shutdown could drag into uncharted territory, with deeper layoffs and rising public anger. But the core question remains: has America crossed a line where political power outweighs institutional stability? For now, thousands of families are trapped in uncertainty. Military parents explaining to their children why the paycheck didn't come. Public servants questioning if their loyalty to country is being punished. It's a silent crisis unfolding in real time. As we wrap up, ask yourself this: if the government can stop paying its soldiers, fire its scientists, and freeze its workers, all in the name of politics, what does that say about the state of American democracy in 2025? The government shutdown is no longer just a political disagreement. It's a stress test for the republic itself, a test of whether governance still means service, or if it's become a tool of control. This has been Global Lens, bringing you the truth behind the headlines. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit like, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more uncensored global analysis. Because the world doesn't pause, and neither should your awareness.